Hello, welcome to PolkaWorld interview. This is Kristen. Wallet is the gateway to blockchain applications, but how much do you know about it? In this episode, we invited the founder of Nova Wallet to dive deeper into how to build the next generation of wallet for Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. Welcome, Anton. Could you brief us on the background of yourself firstly?
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Anton Khvorov. I'm CEO of Dotsama Technologies, and we are building high-quality client applications for Polkadot ecosystem and beyond. We have our first project called Nova Wallet already launched. Nova is next-generation application for iOS and Android, and it really provides you amazing features of the whole Polkadot ecosystem in your mobile device.
Amazing. How did the Nova Wallet idea come to life?
The idea to build the powerful and user-friendly mobile application for Polkadot was literally in the air like few years ago. Especially if you remind back then, there was not much applications like wallet applications for you available to select from, right? And back then, we have seen so much potential of what Polkadot can become in like even in 1 year or in 2 or 3 years. So we decided to jump in and build high quality and literally next gen application for Polkadot ecosystem. And it's been like 3 years, I think, and our team has been designing and developing the open source mobile applications and overall contributing to the substrate and Polkadot ecosystem and its infrastructure. Currently, we are working with almost 100 teams across the whole ecosystem on daily basis to ensure that the users of the Polkadot can access all amazing features from the mobile devices.
Nova Wallet as the potential gateway to Polkadot, bridging the needs and desires of a broad range of potential consumers in Web3. Could you break down philosophically how you view building in Web3?
Yes, I think when you build in Web3 or building in Web3 means that you respect its core attributes or features, right? So Web3 is about like open source, about decentralization, and about this nature of self-custodial environment when user have more control on their data, right, on their assets, compared to the Web2, for example. And our products and Nova Wallet respects these principles and serves as a common good application for the user. So even our funding is coming directly from the like blockchain treasuries, so Kusama and Polkadot treasuries, and we are aiming to provide these high quality solutions to the Web3. So in terms of like philosophy, when you build in Web3, you most likely need to respect everyone in the ecosystem, right? So we're aiming to cover as much features as possible. So one of the example for that would be that in Nova, you can connect literally to any decentralized application in the Polkadot ecosystem that supports Polkadot.js or MetaMask connection. So you can connect to them and use them right from Nova. So there are no, let's say, restrictions or limits in this area. And also, we are trying to keep the pace with this crazy environment because every week there is a new network appearing in the Polkadot ecosystem, and our goal is to provide our users all the assets available and all the networks available basically to be used.
As to wallet, safety is the lifeblood of wallet. So what technology has Nova Wallet adopted to safeguard users' crypto assets and keys?
So it's a multi-layer question, so I will try to address everything. But from the architectural perspective, since Nova Wallet is a self-custodial wallet, only users are owning their keys, right? So the keys themselves are stored in so-called enclaved storage. Enclaved storage means that it's a storage to which none of the applications besides Nova can have access to, right? And this is specific storage of iOS or Android to store super secret information, right? We also, before putting the keys of a user to this enclaved storage, we encrypt them so that even if for some reason it was a success to extract these keys, those keys would be encrypted, so not readable, let's say. In addition to this, like to the fact that we store it securely only on your device, right? We have recently provided an opportunity for our users to integrate or to connect their ledger devices or party signer with their Nova wallet, which means that you can now utilize best of both worlds. So advanced and user-friendly interface of Nova and security which comes from hardware wallets like Ledger or Party Signer. And on top of this, if you don't have hardware wallet or if you don't want to enter the keys to the Nova, we recently delivered an amazing feature which allows you to experiment first with the Nova and the feature called watch-only wallets. The watch-only wallet allow you to add the wallet to Nova by just entering its address. So you don't need to add your like mnemonic passphrase or keys. You're just entering any address from the blockchain, and Nova will show you like the balances and the transaction history because this is available on the blockchain, right? So you can experiment with the application or use it as like portfolio app only.
It's a great innovation. Your wallet may be safe. Sometimes the problem happens to the computer you use Nova wallet on. Any tips for users to keep from any kinds of scammers?
I think core advice would be here is that since we are talking about like a self-custodial applications, right? Of course, the responsibility is on the wallet developers. So the wallet developers need to make sure that their solution can work in any environment, like on the computer, on the mobile, and it will be operating securely. So even if there is like a, let's say, virus on this device, there will be like a minimal risk of this virus getting access to your keys, right? So the wallet developers need to make sure that they are aligned with the best practices for the security and the privacy. So that's one thing. But what matters most nowadays is how users themselves are operating with their keys, right? So from the user perspective, they should understand a simple thing. This is your own keys. So you are responsible to make sure that you store them privately, as private as possible, right? And you never share it with anyone. There are lots of scammers around the internet, like in Telegram chats, in Discord, and basically in any crypto community. Whenever you join, there will be lots of people who wants to scam you. And the typical scam is that they usually pretend to be like admins or support and trying to help you. They're trying to impersonate to look like a team members, right? And they're asking you to verify your account or fill that form. So you as a user should stay away from the scammers. You need to understand one simple thing. These keys, or like a mnemonic passphrase, which are 12 words of your account, this is something what you should never share with anyone, right? If we compare it with a Web2 experience, you never give away your login and password from your social media, right? And you never give away to the stranger your credit card details, right? So the mnemonic passphrase is the same story. But for some reason, lots of the users fail to understand this and they fall to the scam. So this would be the huge advice: to not open links from strangers and to never share your account details, and especially the mnemonic passphrase with the people and the strangers around the world. So stay safe.
Blockchain is reinventing how we connect to one another. Wallet is the right tools for us to access this new world. However, Polkadot is only one of the blockchains. Will Nova Wallet be more compatible with addresses and account format than Polkadot, thus to give users wider access to permissionless decentralized networks for fast, low-cost applications?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we were building the wallet for the Polkadot ecosystem, we initially set in the architecture of Nova that at least if there are a variety of the blockchains that using the same technology named substrate, like Polkadot does, then it would be very easy to add support for this network, right? And you can see that whenever you deal with a substrate, the blockchain framework, right? You now have not only the blockchains which are part of the Polkadot ecosystem. There are a variety of other ecosystems which are using the substrate, but they're not directly connected with the Polkadot. There are a number of chains which are just a solo chains, let's say, available there, but they're using the substrate. So in Nova, the first thing, in Nova, we try to add these networks as well because we see the value for our end users and we expanding the use cases by doing so, by adding networks not only from the Polkadot ecosystem, but also adding networks which are based on the same technology as a Polkadot, right? Now, the second thing is that recently we provided the Dia browser into the Nova, which allows you to basically from mobile device connect to any like DEX or NFT marketplace or any app that using like a MetaMask or Polkadot.js. And the cool thing is that you actually can manage your Ethereum funds in the Dia browser of Nova, even though Ethereum is not yet supported by Nova, right? Or any Ethereum based applications. So it's already possible, and we also have plans to add Ethereum and other ecosystems to the Nova. Even remaining the focus on the Polkadot, it makes sense because we would like to expand the community of Polkadot and also allow users to make liquidity movements between the Polkadot ecosystem and other ecosystems. So it makes sense to have this one wallet which basically can connect to anything.
There's a lot of beginners stepping into this world for the first time, and Web3 wallet is hard for them to understand. Is there any education plan?
Yeah, there are some challenges basically in explaining the difference for a regular user, the difference between Web2 solutions like we have with a login and passwords and the solutions that we have in Web3, right? Where they usually have something like a mnemonic passphrase or the keys, right? So on one hand, you would like to educate the person because you would like to make them understand why what we have now in Web3 is better than what we had in the Web2, in which everything was stored in like a centralized databases and hackers could hack this and get all the data, all the like tokens, even if we're talking about centralized exchanges, right? So the efforts which should be done to the people now to make this transition from Web2 to Web3 experience, right? There are some middle grounds between like a Web2 and Web3 experience when you try to take some best practices of the Web2 and try to adapt them to the Web3. One of the examples would be to have some of the wallets did this actually. So there are options to use crypto wallets and there are options to kind of have this connect using your Google account. So whenever you tap this button in the crypto wallets, what actually is happening is that the crypto wallet is going to your Google Drive. It creates the mnemonic passphrase there, encrypts it so that Google cannot have access to your funds, and then it encrypts it with your password from the Google. So it's kind of the situation in which you are not giving away your mnemonic passphrase to the Google or any cloud provider. Basically, it can be decentralized as well, but still it's a trade-off between the privacy and usability. Of course, that would be much convenient solution for the web, for basically regular users, right? But at the same time, you still storing something really security crucial, which is mnemonic passphrase somewhere, and it creates a risk. So there are lots of things how we can simplify or how we can educate the users, and we are working a lot on trying to understand how we can really do this to our users. We even did some prototypes internally. So the short question would be that we are working on this, but this is really a challenge for the whole ecosystem.
There's a lot of work to do. With emerging blockchain infrastructures such as Aptos and Sui, developers seem to be enthusiastic about looking for opportunities in those newly launched platforms. Any potential impact on the Polkadot ecosystem?
I would say that first, I really like how Polkadot decided to, let's say, set the priorities for its launch, or how they're building, right, and what they're prioritizing. So in the Polkadot, you can really see that it was, and it is still, security and reliability first approach. So that's why you oftenly not see in the Polkadot marketing all these messages regarding like something called like transaction per second, because it's really tricky to unify all the blockchains using the transaction per second metric. So it's usually like a marketing thing. But what I'm trying to say that the Polkadot really focuses on providing a reliable protocol for blockchains to communicate between each other. Because if you take a look on the one of the core use cases of the Polkadot is that to provide a protocol for other blockchains to communicate with each other. And the reason for that is just because we had lots of the problems with the bridges. So the bridges historically were aiming to connect two blockchains between each other, right? And this is super complex task, right? Whenever you do develop something like the bridging, right, that involves a lot of difficult tasks to be solved, right? And in the end of the day, any bridge get hacked, right? So that's why Polkadot decided to step in and decided to provide an innovative solution in how each chain can communicate with each other without first spending tons of efforts and money to building the bridge solution, right? And the second is that to basically provide a risk-free environment for blockchains to communicate with each other. Now, that's the path that Polkadot has chosen, right? And you can see that we getting to the point in which we provided all of these core features for blockchains to communicate between each other. So all these cross-chain operations, all these security and reliability features, which have been in the work for past years, now are getting finalized, which means that all the projects in the ecosystem, including the Polkadot, can shift their focus now more towards the adoption use cases, right? Which should bring more value and which will utilize everything what Polkadot ecosystem has been working on for the last years. Now, talking about new innovative projects, they will always exist because you cannot keep every quality attribute. So whenever we try to compare two things between each other, you always need to define some quality attributes. And then you compare, like, let's say if you're talking about software, you always will talk about like performance, security, usability, and blah, blah, blah. It's like a tens of them, right? So once you define them, you will actually see that there will be no the best solution. There will be always something what solution B is better than solution A and vice versa, right? So that's why whenever we talk about the new solutions, most likely there will be some quality attributes which are better than existing one, right? But overall, what we can see in the industry right now, that the ecosystem or the blockchain needs to be proven with the time, right? Because what we see so far, and I don't want to toss names or even address the Aptos or SU in this, but what we have been seeing so far is that there are lots of marketing efforts that certain ecosystem or blockchain is allocating in, but at some point of time it fails to keep the promises and being either hacked or being defective or stop working, and you see where it goes. So that's why I'm on the side of the Polkadot whenever we talk about like a priorities, right? So Polkadot is really allocating lots of efforts and priorities to the security first approach, but that doesn't mean that it's abandoning all these user values which will come right after we will meet the certain criteria in the security and reliability.
New things sometimes is very attractive, but
Yeah,
they need time to test everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So next topic is about the imagination to the future. So what's the next 3 years of Web3 look like? It is the question that explore the unknown territory, so where your imagination could run wild. Please don't hesitate to share your personal views and don't have to be objective.
On the foundation level, I think was it like it was 3 years, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to set my expectations. Yeah, for 3 years, I think we will make the huge step towards the hybrid use cases of this Web2 style interactions and Web3 in terms of like user friendliness and overall like common known UX, which means that it will be much easier to use Web3 solutions, and that's almost solely on the ground for the user interface designers and the project teams to make sure that this difference between Web2 and Web3 is minimized so that we can attract more people and they will be not confused with how different it is. So the Web3 solution even can be so embedded for the user and encapsulated for the user so that they will not notice that this is like a Web3 or this is Web2. So that would be a huge step, and I believe that in 3 years we can achieve this. So that's like a foundation of what we can see in 3 years. And to be specific, I think what we see nowadays is that more big companies are trying to experiment, at least, or some of them trying to even adopt the Web3 solutions in their regular working environment, let's say, right? Just recently, I think there were news about a McDonald's in Switzerland now accepting the Bitcoin, right? So we can see this adoption from this direction, right? And we will also see what other big companies will try to experiment and adopt from the Web3 industry. And I think in 3 years, there will be like lots of use cases. Because even if you will take a look on the what we have right now, there was a huge spike of the crypto users, of the new crypto users recently, because of how the economy is being shuttered at this moment due to the like worldwide events, right, which are happening at this time. And the crypto at its stage right now helped millions of people to deal with the basic issue, transferring the funds from like one country to another, right? So in 3 years, there will be like much better adoption for not only these use cases, but something innovative. And lots of talk nowadays, if you visit like a conferences, you will see lots of talk about the NFT, gaming, and the metaverse. While I don't believe that there will be something really big in 3 years in this area, I still think that we, in the moment in which we spend lots of efforts experimenting in this area, right? So I'm pretty sure that something will happen, right? Because there are so many teams building the metaverses, NFTs, and the gaming that just by the probability theory, there should be some great value in the end of the day as an outcome of their work, right? So yeah, I think that would be the answer.
As our interview drawing to the end, anything you would like to add or remark?
Yeah, I would just like to remind everyone that, yeah, keep your passphrase private and secure. Never share it with anyone. So if somebody is asking you about your verification of mnemonic passphrase or fill the form to sync something, that's most likely scam. Never share your mnemonic passphrase or keys with anyone. Store it securely and privately. And on top of that, if you would like to try what we are building in Dotsama Technologies with no wallet available on iOS and Android, we would be happy to hear what you're thinking of, because yes, once again, our idea is to build really like the most advanced and user-friendly mobile application for Polkadot and beyond.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and hope that our community members would love Nova Wallet, and hope the members who loves Nova Wallet and just download and try it, and keep tuned. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.